Okay, so that's 2 minutes past. So hopefully, if there are any late joiners, this one, if there are any people joining late, they can obviously catch up. So thank you. First of all, I wanted to thank HEPER Lighting for inviting me to host this webinar today. HEPER have just joined the IDA Fixture Seal of Approval program, and HEPER have also achieved some Fixture Seal of Approval from the IDA and joined the UK Sustaining Membership. So without further ado, I'm going to kick off. My name is Paul Gregory. I am a member of the Society of Light and Lighting. I'm also a member of the Institute of Lighting Professionals, and I sit on the technical committee in the IDA US. I'm one of the founding directors of the IDA UK as well, where I also sit on the technical committee. Now, what I wanted to be able to sort of do today was really, rather than going straight in to light pollution, before we even start thinking about light pollution, we need to think about how we see and how we behave the way we do today. And that's really down to our human evolution. And we've lived on this planet in one form or another for millions of years. And it's the species that we've sort of become today. And interestingly, if we squeezed the whole of human evolution into a single day, we've actually only had electric light for about 7 seconds. So that really sort of demonstrates how new electric light is for us. And if we think about that human evolution, the one constant that has helped all living creatures, including ourselves, is the day and night cycle, and that nature survives on predictability. And the one thing that we can always predict on in this planet is that day and night cycle, that 24-hour routine of the rising and the setting of the sun, which has given nature an advantage because nature thrives on routine. And if we think about how we perceive light, we can perceive it when the full spectrum of the sun, the bluer wavelengths of light are scattered more, as you can see here, which is why the sky appears to be blue. And as you see, the midday, the sun has the shortest distance to travel through, and as a result, the least scattering occurs, so that sunlight we see will appear to be white. In the evening, it has to travel through more atmosphere, so more blue light is scattered. So sunlight appears to be more red at sunrise and sunset. And it's that circadian sort of rhythm that our body has evolved under for millions of years. And it will become more and more important and apparent in a moment while I'm talking about the sort of spectral power distribution of lighting. And if we look at the SPD of daylight at noon, you can see that we've got some very high levels of blue light during daylight. Moonlight, as you can see here, very, very low levels of blue light. And that reduction in that blue light actually signals our body clock that it's nighttime and starts to release melatonin. The issue that we have currently with a lot of LED lamps, as you can see here, particularly the higher color temperature lamps, we have some very high spikes of blue light within that spectral power distribution, which is why it's important for us, particularly at night, that we're using warmer color temperature lamps. So you can see the 2700 blue light spike is much, much lower than the other color temperature lamps. And that will again become a bit more apparent in a moment why that's so important. And if we overlay all of that spectral power distribution with our own eyes color sensitivity, this is the photopic sensitivity that we are most perceptible to. And you can see in the center there that we've got the yellow and amber light that we are most sensitive to, around that sort of 550 nanometers in the electromagnetic spectrum. And that sort of is partly the reason why we will see, yellow road signs and yellow stripes on the road and things like that, is because our eye is more perceptive to that color, and particularly, particularly at night. However, even though our eye doesn't have a huge amount of color sensitivity in the blue spectrum, recent discoveries have found that the ganglion cells within our retina that you can see on the right-hand image here, these IPRGCs, or intrinsically photosensitive retinal ganglion cells for short, actually pick up the blue wavelength in the spectrum. And it's not, by its very nature, it's not that we see it, but our brain picks this up, and it's actually hardwired back to our suprachiasmatic nucleus in the brain, which then informs the pineal gland to start releasing melatonin. As soon as that blue light level drops, it tells us to release melatonin. And that is tremendously important in terms of our circadian rhythm. And we know that a lot of animals also go through this natural sort of circadian rhythm. So let's get on to the subject of, now that we've had a bit of a recap on light and photosensitivity and stuff, let's think about light pollution. But again, before and what we mean by light pollution, really, and I think light pollution in a nutshell can just be, categorized as any adverse effect that artificial lighting at night has. And light pollution is one of the easiest pollutions that we can solve, because we could just turn all of the lights off, as an example. And the light pollution that we're going to discuss today are three main forms: sky glow, glare, and light trespass. But before I move on to light pollution, I just wanted to share my own experience with my own personal journey with dark skies. So this was a project that I've been in exterior lighting and lighting for many years, including this one at Yas Island Marina Hotel in Abu Dhabi. Formula One fans would maybe recognize it, as the Formula One circuit actually passes underneath the hotel. And I remember the client on this project wanting to make a real statement. So we designed this color changing exoskeleton that sits all the way over the top of the hotel, and without any real consideration to what we were and the effect that we were going to cause on the environment. It was a real case of, I want it brighter and I want it bigger and better than anything else around. And that summer, the very summer after that project was completed, I had the opportunity to go to the Channel Island of Sark. And Sark actually has no streetlights, no cars. And it was really where I first got to experience what we would class as a sort of truly dark sky. And at the time, I'm an amateur sort of astronomer now, but at the time I was no stargazer. I could recognize a few constellations. But as it got darker, most of those constellations actually started to disappear through the sheer number of stars that I could see in the sky. And it was literally awesome. And it really sort of gave me a strange experience of complete insignificance and fragility, actually. And that cluster of stars that you see on the top right there, forgive me if there are any astronomers on the call, but that cluster at the top right there is Pleiades, or the Seven Sisters. And actually, quite timely for this webinar, the ancient Druids actually believe that when Pleiades was at its highest zenith, which was on midnight on the 31st of October, the veil between the living world and the afterlife came down. And that would allow the dead to be seen. And that was the origins of Halloween. And given that Halloween was only just on Monday, I thought it might be worth sharing that with you. I don't think the Druids did any trick-or-treating, though. I think that was an American invention. And I also like the story that this Japanese cluster is known as Subaru, which means to unite or to gather together. And actually the Subaru car company has that sort of logo of the Seven Sisters actually in its on its cars. While I was leaving Sark, I saw the sign "Welcome to the world's first dark sky island," and that's what got me involved with the IDA. And it's estimated that only 10% of the global population has actually seen the Milky Way, which is our own galaxy. So let's think about the types of light pollution. And sky glow is this dome of brightness that we can see on the horizon that obscures our view of the night sky. And it's really caused by unshielded and misdirected light that's scattering through that atmosphere. And that short little video I showed you earlier, where we've got the blue light that scatters much more than any other of the visible spectrum. That's why if we have high color temperature street lights that are unshielded, you do really create this very, very scattered sort of light and sky glow. This image, you can see the sky glow on the right-hand side from Tucson, Arizona, and the dark sky starting to reveal the Milky Way on the left-hand side of that image. This is a South Downs National Park, which is an IDA dark sky reserve. That rather bright-looking lump in the centre there, we've got a beautiful view of the Milky Way there. But get closer in, and that brighter centerpiece there is actually the Brighton and Hove football stadium, the Amex Stadium, which is causing a huge amount of light pollution, as you can see from that image there. And they're actually using the lights throughout the night to actually encourage the growth on the turf. So, but it's caused a huge amount of local issue. So, if we then think about glare, and you know, the glare can be best described as the difference in contrast ratio. So, if we think about this bike that's traveling towards us during the day in a sort of ambient natural light, that's not really going to cause any glare issues to the eye. But that same sort of motorcycle at night will cause some discomfort glare. And that's primarily because of the high contrast ratio between the lit object and the background scene in which it's being viewed. So glare is more pronounced at night. And we can often see that from unshielded or misdirected light fixtures at night. I'm sure most people have experienced this if you live in a built-up environment or have done for any, you know, over your lifetime or any length of time. And the light trespass, where we've just got unshielded lights or lights that are just allowing to stream light into other properties, this is really light trespass. And when light is falling outside of this sort of property boundary onto another property, this is a sort of light rights issue, if you like. It's not just annoying, this, but it's bad for our health, and I'll come on to that in a little bit more in a moment. But if we think about this sort of light trespass, and we were unfortunate enough to buy one of these houses or live in one of these houses, we could actually do something about it. We can add some blackout blinds, for example. We could do something to help mitigate that light trespass. However, our nocturnal wildlife don't have that luxury. So it's just worth thinking about that when we think about the consequences of light pollution. And there are so many reasons why we should be protecting the night. And we'll take a look at a few of these now. I change these slides around depending on the importance that I perceive the audience or the customer may be thinking about. Now, obviously, there is a huge focus at the moment on energy, on the energy crisis and sustainability. And the amount of wasted energy that we get from artificial lighting at night is absolutely unbelievable. 99% of all outdoor light is wasted because it is not putting the light where it's needed and when it's needed. It's just completely wasted, and we can see that from our global images. And light pollution is growing at over 2% every year. And if we think about the effects and the consequences of light pollution on our wildlife, these hatchling turtles are affected by light pollution. Hatchlings before lighting came in, they would always orientate themselves towards the ocean, which was the brightest part of their field of vision, and it would be the ocean would be reflecting the brightness of the moon and the stars. And of course, now that we're building a lot on the coast, they get confused, disorientated, and they can clamber towards a sort of city light. Birds are like moths in the fact that they're also, they're attracted to light. And birds also migrate using celestial navigation. Excuse me a sec. Excuse me. When birds are confronted by brightly lit sort of urban areas, they come really disorientated, and they're obviously attracted to that light pollution in the city. Our nocturnal animals are also affected: foxes, owls, and bats. And bats are obviously, often given to be the sort of poster child for artificial lighting at night. And the reason for that is because, bats are declining in their numbers, and they're warm-blooded. They suckle their young. They only have one pup a year. So they're really important indicators on how ecosystems are doing, really. Because they only have one pup a year, if they're blocked from doing their foraging or any other sort of environmental impacts around them, they are declining massively in their sort of numbers. And that's why bats are are more important than than so many people often give them credit for. And they've got some very cute babies. That picture at the bottom there was from a bat rescue sort of orphanage. If we think about plants and trees, they're also affected by light pollution. And those that, as you can see here, if you look at this top left-hand image, there's a street light in there, and you can actually spot where the street light is before you see the street light because of the green of that tree underneath it. Center image there at the top, just look at the this tree should have been completely shed of its leaves, but obviously where the street light is, again, you've still got a lot of those leaves on there. Same on that top right hand picture there. And the issue with this, and we can see it, quite often across everywhere, the issue with that is that these trees are not in their natural sort of cycle, so they lose their leaves later. Trees have to rest and sleep as well, and if they don't lose their leaves when they're supposed to, they die sooner. So we see a lot of trees that are dying early in higher sort of light polluted urban areas. And mentioned about human health and the importance of sleep a moment ago. And sleep is tremendously important. And if we're exposing ourselves to high blue light content of light at night, whether that's through light trespass or whether you're walking through the city at night, that blue light is stopping and suppressing the release of melatonin. Now, we know that melatonin is not just our sleep hormone, but it's actually responsible for eliminating free radicals that are in the body. Now, we know that free radicals go on to cause cell mutations, and cell mutations can go on to cause some cancers. So it's extremely important, not just that we're, regenerating ourselves at night, that we're recovering our immune system. Also, the brain needs to sleep for recovery purposes and healthy cognitive functions. And we know that mental health is really linked to sleep as well. So we're really, really affecting ourselves when we're exposing ourselves to these high level of blue light at night, whether willingly or unwillingly, if you're going to be exposed to it through light trespass. And sleep is probably the single most important thing that we can do as a human race. If we think about light pollution and astronomy and our heritage, the top left image is there. That is Vincent van Gogh's Starry Night, which was painted in Saint-Rémy in France in 1889. That church that Van Gogh was painted there, that's Saint-Rémy Church today. You can't see a star in the sky. So tremendous sort of light pollution that's happened around that city in modern day. And with, if we were in a world of light pollution, we would never have navigated the globe. Galileo and Isaac Newton would have never gone on to their amazing sort of discoveries. We wouldn't have walked on the moon, and we wouldn't have learned of our expanding universe. The list sort of goes on with our connection between mathematics and discovery and astronomy and art and inspiration. There's ways we can mitigate this. And number one has to be through better lighting design. And these are the 5 principles here that we've got for responsible outdoor lighting. I'll just spend a moment to run through those. It has to be useful. Before we do anything with lighting, is it needed? Do we need to put a light there? Consider how it's going to impact that area. Think about the wildlife impacts and the environmental impacts. Think about what else might be in that area, and could it be illuminated without the need for lighting? So it should have that clear purpose. And if it has got a clear purpose, we should put the light exactly where it's needed. It should be targeted, and it should be shielded so that we're preventing any light spill from other areas beyond where it's needed. We should only use the correct brightness level, the correct lumen package that we need. And we put some guidance on the IDA website in terms of what you should be thinking about in terms of illuminance on a particular area. And that's also on the sort of dark sky lighting websites. So just be mindful that some of those surface conditions, if you've got a very light pathway or highly reflective material, that even if you're pushing the light downwards, you could get some interreflection back upwards. So just remember that in terms of low light levels. We should be always looking to control our lighting, using timers and motion detectors and presence detectors, where you can potentially, it doesn't come on until it's dark and there's somebody, that's broken a presence detector, or if it's street lighting, that we can dim it down to 50% of its brightness during the hours of darkness, or even lower, as happened in some cities, saving energy. And then that can ramp back up in the morning hours when there's a bit more sort of activity. And all of you on this, I'm sure on this webinar, will have gone past countless buildings that are lit up all night. I'm sure you've gone past countless cities that are just lit up all night with no control whatsoever. And color temperature. Use the warmer color temperature when you can. The IDA will only approve products that are 3000 Kelvin or less. That doesn't go far enough, we think. It needs to be 2700 or preferably 2200 because of that blue light spike that I spoke about earlier. The warmer the color temperature, the less blue light that we've got in there, and the less effect on our own health and our nocturnal wildlife. So where can you find all of this? So a couple of places. This is the Dark Sky Lighting website. It is a distributor and a reseller of Dark Sky approved products. It's a website and e-commerce business that I'm involved in. And we promote the use of IDA, Dark Sky approved, fixed to seal of approved lighting and friendly lighting. And you can have a look at it on there. There's also a list of all of the IDA approved products on the darksky.org website as well. If for those that are not familiar with the IDA, so the International Dark Sky Association helps protect the night from light pollution and promotes responsible outdoor lighting. And please, if you've got any interest in our environment and helping to save our night skies and protect and reduce light pollution, join the IDA today. There's two links in there. The first one is the UK chapter, so based here in the UK, looking at sort of more, whilst we've got global influence, we're looking at more initiatives that are affecting the UK. And then the international chapter, or the international parent, if you like, which is darksky.org. We have an IDA global conference that is happening on November the 11th and 12th. It's a virtual worldwide event. The link on, you can find the link to this to register. It's free to register. You can find the link to this on the darksky.org website, and you can register, and there's some engagement workshops and speakers and so on and so forth within that. So that concludes the IDA part of the presentation. I'm now going to hand over to Ismail from HEPER Lighting to take us through their Dark Sky products and their Dark Sky journey. Over to you, Ismail.
Thank you, Paul. Thank you for enlightening us about how to keep it dark. And thank you all for your participation. And I think it's one of the important movements recently doing our HEPER system that we also join, and happy with that. Let me introduce myself once more. This is Ismail. I'm working as a international sales manager here in Ankara. And in HEPER's last 25 years of history, HEPER always focused on developing products that's environmental friendly and matching the requirements, and with innovation, developing products with the motto for the right use of light, which is why we have the motto as true light. HEPER is, as I said, is one of the premier brands and representative for engineering with its highly energy efficient products. Our HEPER product range offers modern and sleek design luminaires to meet the contemporary expectation of the lighting sector. And this picture is one of the best from our new facility that we'd like to share with you. Recently, in order to support all the efforts for the United Nations doing regarding the sustainable world, we are quite proud to announce that we have signed onto the United Nations Global Compact as a business participant for achieving a sustainable world. With this step, we are demonstrating our intent to support the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals. We have identified 6 development goals, and for example, one of them, the most important one for us, is the 9th development goal, which is industry, innovation, and infrastructure. Since lighting business is one of the sectors belong this the goal of sustainable development goals, it's very important to produce and manufacture in the right way, and also the product itself should be should provide the light for us in the right way. We are committed to making United Nations principles part of strategy, culture, and day-to-day operations of our company, and to engage in collaborative projects, such as we are doing with IDA in UK, and which we are also aligned with our own values. In this regard, recently we also developed such projects in Turkey. One of them is the project we developed in the south part of Turkey, very close to turtle hatching areas. With the mission improving life through light, we believe that it's possible to address and support the concepts of safety, security, and social needs by implementing the right lighting while making sure that wildlife and their natural habitats are not harmed. As Paul explained about the turtle hatching areas, it's very important that artificial lights misleading the baby turtles, and it's not good because most of the sea turtles are in endangered species. So that's why HEPER is an advocate for the importance of the right use of light for a sustainable world and a better future for all. So recently, we are in contact with IDA UK to develop such projects in UK as well. And we are thrilled to announce that we joined IDA UK as a sustaining member to protect the natural night. We support important night sky preservation and restoration efforts in UK, and often we cannot see the sky in all its clarity because of the light pollution created by the city lights, as Paul shown a few examples. We work diligently as HEPER so that anyone can watch the sky from every corner of the world through lighting concepts that protect the darkness and integrate with the surroundings. This is why, as HEPER, we advocate for the importance of the right use of light and maintaining the dark sky. Also, with IDA UK, we have sponsored a very important event in UK, which is called the Pitch Dark event, organized by Dark Sky Lighting, Light Collective, and IDA UK, which was aimed to raise awareness about the importance of preserving the natural nighttime environment. As a sustaining member of the IDA UK, we are delighted to support this amazing event, which happened a few months ago. Also in Turkey, we are trying to raise the awareness of dark sky movement. Our dark sky cycling team ridden for the dark sky for 24 hours to raise awareness about light pollution in September in Istanbul, 24 boost race. in Intercity Istanbul Park, which is also hosted for Formula One World Championship many times. At HEPER, our philosophy revolves around the right use of light, and we remain enthusiastic to help to create a better tomorrow via improving life. To reach that, we develop such products and technologies, and we are quite happy to announce that 2 of our products has approved by IDA recently. Inappropriate or excessive use of artificial light causes light pollution, as we know, and it can have serious environmental consequences for people, ecosystems, and our climate. Our goal is a natural light, a natural sky, and we produce for dark sky friendly lighting solution. We are happy to say that our Dogo and Drago product families have received dark sky certification recently. Thus, by reducing the light thrown into the night sky to 0, we provide soft and eye-comfortable lighting with these products. HEPER's Dogo and Drago families serve different purposes for high-end architectural lighting projects while complementing one another in terms of optics and design. Dogo is a highly versatile surface-mounted product that can be used for perimeter, facade, or accent lighting, while Drago is a bollard that can thrive in illumination of landscape areas and pathways. Both are powered by the same corrosion-resistant die-cast aluminum Dogo body, and Drago becomes a self-standing robust bollard with the help of an extrusion part that can allow the product height to be further customized. And you can see a reference photo, which is in Turkey, and one more from the natural habitat. As you can see, limited almost 0, of course, uplight, which just provide the right light into the right place, which is the pathway in this project. How we do that is the important part. We are using the reflector technologies, which is called Dino, to achieve 0 uplight. Dino is a distinctively unique reflector-based optical technology that can be used in various applications, such as wall washing or pathway illumination. Shell-type reflectors exactly constrain the light in a very linear form, and also alignment of the light sources blocks the direct eye contact and prevents glare. And thanks to its, of course, 1:6 ratio, we can provide the illumination, necessary illumination with the less number of luminaires, also, which is a good side of the technology itself. Precisely engineered microfacets optimize the light output, resulting in a uniform light distribution without streaks, aiming to achieve 0 uplight, as you can see a few illustrations here. With this powerful technology, and also thanks to support of the IDA, we have also been a part of Dark Sky project in UK. Natural light is a vital element for our planet, as we know, and even though it's hard, we must face the undesired truth that unnatural light brings more harm than good to most living creatures. At HEPER, our philosophy revolves around the importance of right use of light, and that's why we always say less is more when it comes to utilizing artificial light sources. The important project that we use our first approved products, Dogo and Dragos, is the unique Snowdonia National Park, which is home to Wales' largest natural lake and its highest mountain, Mount Snowdon, is illuminated by products that do not stabilize nature. The reflective technology used in Dogo allows increased optical quality and efficiency. In this way, we can offer an environmental friendly solution with less product usage. We are proud to be part of this project that has implemented this eco-friendly lighting scheme. And the project was in Snowdonia area called Plessy Brennan National Outdoor Center. And I would like to thank especially Dark Source for choosing our product in this very important reservation area. as you can see, before and after photos, how light source can change the environment and provide a better environment for the living creatures without harming their natural habitat or minimizing its adverse effects on the nature. I would like to keep it short and brief because I hope we will have some questions that we would like to also answer. And I would like to thank again Paul for giving us opportunity to understand more about how to keep it dark. Thank you all. And if you have any questions, let's check. Paul, there's a question for you, I guess.
Yep.
Is there a chemical which is the opposite of melatonin that wakes us up, or is the lack of melatonin the thing that wakes us up?
The opposite of melatonin is serotonin. So that's how our body sort of releases that. The pineal gland releases melatonin when the blue light content is low. As the sun starts to rise, our body starts to release serotonin, which wakes us up and gets us ready to face the fight of the day. And it's really interesting when you start looking at human evolution, how we respond, how our natural body clocks sort of respond based on, hundreds of thousands of years of that day and night cycle. And we are outdoor animals. We should be outdoors. It's only in the last 100 years or so that it's been helped by artificial lighting that we become indoor animals. We all still enjoy being outside. We are built to run and hunt and fight and so on and so forth. There's no secret in the link between us becoming indoor sort of animals under artificial lighting, our cities brighter than ever, that there's a rise in both mental health and other illnesses. Obviously, diet's important, alcohol, all of those type of things are factors as well. But lighting has a tremendous effect. And what's really reassuring for me is that companies, the likes of HEPER, really take their responsibility seriously as a lighting manufacturer to not only think we want to develop product that is environmentally friendly. They've got their own sustainability sort of messaging, but also product that has some unique control to be able to prevent light pollution. And that's tremendously important. We need much more manufacturers that are on board with that, because like I said, we can stop light pollution pretty quick.
Correct. So we can say that it's an open invitation for all the manufacturers to support this movement and join this attempt to provide a sustainable future for the next generations. And there are some other questions, but there's one technical questions I will pass because you will answer that part, I guess. There's one small question that I would like to address. Sam Robinson, thank you for your question. For Dogo, wall-mounted product, it's a Drago is the bollard version of that. For the forward, we have 1,000 to 3,000 lumen package, and for the forward light. But for the side, we have 500 to 1,400 lumens package. So I hope that will help. Another question.
I can see that other question there, Ismail. We would like to participate in the International Dark Sky Places program as a park or sanctuary with private land in Colombia. How can we measure the night sky brightness / quality in magnitudes per square arc second in order to know if we can apply, and how to obtain IDA approved night sky brightness measuring equipment if necessary? Is there a minimum size required for the land? and if it fulfills the criteria and all the documentation is sent, how long does the IDA take to review and the designation process to take normally? Wow, that's a big question in all of that there, which is great. I think the short answer is what I would like to do is we're encouraging applicants to the Dark Sky Places Park Sanctuaries program. Just in answer to the area sort of size, if it isn't big enough, there are other types of programs that we can look at to certify the area. Yes, we recommend dark sky meters. There are a number of sort of meters that we would recommend. And in a nutshell, there's a criteria and application pack that you would need for the dark sky park or sanctuary. And I think what I will do is I'll take your direct email if you're happy with that, and get. I sit on the technical committee. I've got a colleague who sits on the Dark Sky Places committee, and they are much more knowledgeable than I am around how you gain certification. I do know, however, it's quite a long journey. It's quite a long sort of process. It involves benchmarking to begin with in terms of your current sort of sky quality, and then quite a significant sort of mission to help reduce light pollution if that's required. But it's quite a long journey. It will take some time. But again, it depends what you're looking to do with the area as well. There's a new designation program that we'll be launching next year, specifically aimed at astrotourism. The UK, just speaking for the UK, has the largest number of dark sky reserves and parks anywhere outside of the US. And we see a huge rise in astrotourism within those parks of people from the towns and cities actually want to get out and experience the nature and of course our dark skies. So we're looking at how we can promote that as well. So if there was a requirement for that for your place in Colombia, then that's certainly another route that we can look at. Thank you both for the presentation. Thank you.
I think we should thank the Claro Oscuro Lighting Design Office for their question, and also congratulate them for supporting such movement and want to join as an officer. If there's no other question, I guess this is the end of this webinar. And thank you again, Paul. And thank you.
Sorry, Ismail. Sorry. Thank you, Ismail. Thank you, Paul. Can we have a group image, please? Maybe everybody can turn on their cameras.
Yeah, please.
Yeah. Oh, some lovely looking faces there.
It's great to see you all. Maybe next time we will join the next event together in the field to observe the night sky, dark sky.
Host needs to turn on my video.
Thank you very much, everybody. I don't think my video is working, so that's just typical, of course.
Thank you,
you cannot start the video because your host has stopped it. Oh, right.
Thank you, Paul. Hello, everybody. Hello, Cam.
No, it's not me.
Cam.
Hello there.
Cam.
How are you?
Good.
Nice to see you in person, by the way.
Nori,
Yeah,
you're
good.
also on a 90-degree angle. Is that, or you're not sat on that angle, I'm assuming?
No, I've not had a drink yet, Paul. But why is it doing that?
No idea. I've never seen that. Never seen that one before. That's
You are
cool.
giving us a different perspective to look at. So
Indeed.
Maybe we
you.
should all do
Yeah.
it. No, maybe
It's,
not.
it's a dark sky protocol for Scotland that the photographs are in a 90-degree situation. Sorry about that. You'll just all have to go like that.
That's fine.
Thank you.
But thank you very much, everybody. Thanks, Ismail. Thanks, Paul. Maybe we can get a catch up maybe sometime next week.
Yeah,
Paul?
no, absolutely, no
Sure.
problem.
Sure.
That'd be great,
Okay.
Laurie. Yeah.
All right. Okay, then, folks. Thank you very much. I'll have to go now.
Thank you all
Bye,
for your
Enjoy the rest of your
participation.
day.
And
Thank
if
you.
you have any
Bye,
other
everybody.
questions, you can text, email, call. We are here for you.
Okay. Goodbye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Take care.
Bye-bye.
Bye, guys.
No, I was just going to ask if you've got any questions that are occurring to you now, anything you want clarifying, anything at all. Okay.
Bye, guys.
Hey, John, do you just want to hang on a second?
Yeah, sure.